Okay, so here we go with another G.I. Joe classified series unboxing, and this is Kim Jinx Arashikage. In the G.I. Joe comic book, um, the origin of Snake Eyes was one of my favorite stories when I was a kid, and it introduced the idea that Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes had known each other since Vietnam. And in that story, when they're in the Vietnam segment of it, Stalker is the one who's narrating it because he was they all three served together, and uh, he describes this kid named Tommy with an unpronounceable last name. And I kind of figure unpronounceable is basically because, like, everybody that wasn't Tommy had a hard time pronouncing it. So Arashikage is not that hard of a word to pronounce, really. But I imagine, people in the army and whatever, like, that weren't really familiar with him and weren't really familiar with the Japanese language at all would kind of stumble over it, like, uh, uh, uh Arashikage, that kind of thing. And I think that might have also been a little bit of like autobiography on Larry Hama's part, since he was an American of Japanese descent, and his name is pronounced Hama, which is spelt Hama. So probably a lot of people that he ran into in the army, like a lot of people that I've heard say it, like in various places in real life and online. Probably a lot of people just pronounce it Hama because, if you're an English speaking person, that's the word ham with an A at the end of it. So you just Hama. That's like you don't really think about. But he says Hama. His name's Hama. That's how it's pronounced. So that's probably where he got the idea from that. So this is a new type of packaging. They've switched back to having a packaging with a window so we can see the figure, and that's a good thing. I like that. But you can see it's also a much smaller package than the previous window packaging. Now, I did have it around here somewhere. Where did I put it? I know I had it. I actually was smart and brought it over here with me. There it is. I found it. So I happened to pick this up yesterday at Ollie's, and I've got like a bunch of these like unopened. I've been buying them for customs, but we can compare the sizes of the older packages and new packages, and you can see that the older packages are much bigger. They're about an inch longer and maybe about a quarter of an inch taller. So it looks a lot bigger just looking at it like that. Next to each other, you realize it's not quite as much bigger. It's still a little bit bigger. But yeah, so that's about the difference in those sizes. I didn't think to bring uh, one of the paperless packages over, or the plasticless packages. They got paper on them still. I don't know why I said that. I didn't think to bring one of the plasticless packages over here with me to compare, but we'll do that tomorrow. Hi, Sean Franklin. Hope you're doing well today. Thanks for joining us. Uh, but yeah, tomorrow I'll be opening Torch because I got Jinx, I got Torch. There we go, and I got Doc. He's over across the room right now, though. So I've got those three new classified figures. We're gonna open all those up, and next week, something to open is I got the McFarlane Mr. Freeze. So we'll be opening that. Uh, are you going to San Diego Comic Con? No, I can't. I can't afford that. But I'll look forward to seeing some news from it. Hopefully, they'll have some cool reveals of various toys, movies, stuff like that. I always like seeing that, but no, I can't afford to go across the country to go to a comic book convention, unfortunately. Uh, So yeah, this packaging is all new. So I've got some stuff. I should probably go over it some. It's got like this kind of texture to it that's printed onto it. I'm not sure what it is. I can't quite make it out. I guess I don't have enough light in my room. I'll have to go look at it outside or something. We got some photography on the back. So Jinx in the training area. Of course, anybody familiar with the animated GI Joe movie will recognize this as the training area, the gym in which she spars with Beachhead. You can see the pugil sticks behind her. Remember, she breaks one of them in half and fights Beachhead with those. And of course, she's got her double-sided staff there with the blades on either end. You see, she's got her blindfold, as my blind ninja master would say, the keenest eye is that which looks inward. And some detailing of that tattoo they got on her arm. Man, they love giving these classified figures tattoos. It's like you had a few characters with tattoos in the original GI Joe line, but it's like now that the the technology for printing on these figures with like the tampography and everything has gotten so good, man, they just can't resist giving any character a tattoo that they can. Oh, let's have a look at Torch. He's sure to have tattoos. Oh yeah, he's got the flame tattoos on there. We'll talk more about him tomorrow. But nice piece of artwork on the side. Portrait of Jinx looking very stern. She looks kind of like a little bit to me like Michelle Yeoh, kind of. So anyway, let's go ahead and open her up. So I've been looking forward to this one for a while. Jinx was always a character that I really liked. She was in the comic book a lot, probably because Larry Hama wanted to use every girl character he could. Usually, if it was a girl character, she stuck around uh, long after the figure was off the shelves because they didn't make a whole lot of girl characters. So he got as much mileage out of them as he could. There's what the insert looks like with a little GI Joe star on there with 3 stripes. There we go. We do have the little esoteric symbols over here at the side. I have no idea what they mean. QR code here, which if it's anything like the other QR codes, it just takes you straight to the Hasbro website. Not even a GI Joe website, just the straight up Hasbro website. It does have a little plastic thing at the top, so it can hang on a peg. So, but I think that's pretty much it as far as the packaging goes. So, all right, so let's have a look at her accessories. On the figure, she has 2 solid fists, and I will be changing those out almost instantly. I feel like they probably just should have had the gripping hands on there and had those be the default hands. Because she's got all these cool weapons. You want her to hold the weapons, right? And here is her bandana / blindfold. And this sword, the original Jinx came with a backpack with 2 swords that could go in the backpack. And she only has a sword and a sheath. And the sword doesn't seem like it stays in there very tightly. And I believe that this is, I know that this is the same sheath. I can tell. I recognize it. I'm pretty sure this is the same sword that came with the movie version of Snake Eyes, the Henry Golding one. So, reuse of that. But that's fine. I don't mind that. And then we have this head. So she does come with a masked head. It's deep within that package. There we go. And it doesn't look exactly like the head that came with the original figure, where it was more of a loosely fitting hood. This is a very tight ninja mask, and it's got some ties in the back, some little tassels hanging out there. So if you want to put the blindfold over the ninja mask, she's going to have like 2 sets of ties hanging up the back of her head. All right, let's set that aside for now. And then the only new weapon that she comes with, she got a sword and she got a spear. And the sword is a reuse of a previous sword that we've seen. And she does have the double-sided spear that fans of the original Jinx action figure recognize that. Okay, so let's set that aside. That's all the accessories. Get Jinx herself out of there. And Jinx has had various hairstyles in various iterations. I don't know why I closed this. Various iterations of the G.I. Joe media. It was always really inconsistent in the comics. Like when she was introduced in the comics, she had long hair, and then the very next issue she had short hair, and then she'd have long hair again. It would kind of change depending on who was doing the artwork, I think. And in the animation model, she had a hairstyle very much like this. I suppose it makes sense that they go with the animation model as like a basis for the head sculpt, since that would be the one. I think if anybody's going to be familiar with the character, there's a good chance that's what they're going to be familiar with it for. So she's got this sleeve tattooed on her arm. So the original Jinx had long sleeves, and this one has no sleeves. And I think that's mainly just because they wanted to give her that tattoo. So comparing it to the artwork that's on the packaging, there are some red flowers or pink flowers that are on this arm, but it's not as apparent on the actual figure as it is on the packaging that there's those pink flowers on the arm, because they're a little close to the color of her skin, but they are there. And the ink that's used for the black parts, it's a little more grayish on the packaging and a little more bluish on the actual figure, which I think that's a really good color for like a tattoo. It looks like a pretty realistic tattoo color to me. And she's got the dragon symbol on her gi, so that's something that fans of the original figure are familiar with. They did put some ties around her calves there, so it's not quite like the pajama-looking pants, the original figure. And she still has the red slippers, only it looks like this time she's wearing some black socks. So, and I can't see her fingernails on this, but fans of the original figure might be disappointed that Jinx does not have her red nail polish. Now, I figure the reason that the original figure had red nail polish is because they wanted to make sure that you knew this character was a girl. She was wearing a mask on the original figure, so you couldn't see her head. And, she did have a feminine body shape. She was wearing that loose karate gi, but, it was still a clearly feminine body shape. But, maybe they figured that was sort of thing like kids aren't really going to notice that the same way an adult would. You know what I mean? So give her some red nail polish just to make it that much more apparent that she was a kid. And honestly, I always appreciated that they had that little attention to detail on there. I can't think of another action figure from the 80s that actually had nail polish. So I, being the customizer that I am definitely going to paint some red nail polish onto this figure. That's definitely going to be something that I do. The head sculpt's really nice. She looks very pretty. She's got like this good neutral facial expression. I like it very much. She's got kind of a softer look than CoverGirl had. I know a lot of people like thought with the cheekbones and everything, CoverGirl looked a little severe, so they kind of toned that down a little bit. So she's got like a little black choker around her neck with like a little tiny little orange medallion there. That's kind of interesting. And she's got like these stripes down the side of her uniform, like this kind of burgundy stripe. Just something to add a little bit of extra texture to it. And the trim of her gi has got that same shade of burgundy to it. Let's go ahead and swap out those hands because I want her to be able to hold her weapons. And she's got some black wraps around her forearms. So that would cover up where her Arashikage clan tattoo would be right here. Larry in the comics always described it as being at the wrist. It's always illustrated to be like taking up most of the whole forearm. I kind of imagine that like the way that it actually works is that it would actually be much smaller and actually be at the wrist. But of course, it being comic book artwork, you want it to be obvious what it is. So that's why they draw it to be much larger and take up the whole forearm. That's just how it works in my head canon anyway. But you know, these days, like so many fans of the comic book have actually gotten Arashikage clan tattoos, and it's usually more up on the forearm because that's how it's drawn in the comic book, despite how it's described in the text of the comic book. So this headband is really rubbery, so I should be able to stretch it over her head very easily, so we can see how that looks like on the unmasked head. And it's black, so it kind of blends in with her hair a little bit more that I would like, especially if we had it as like, just as a headband. So as far as the unmasked head goes, I think that this probably will work better if they'd colored it red, but they probably colored it black, so you could put it over the more ninja type head, and you can have it down around her neck too if you want to do that. Let's go ahead and pop her head off. Put the ninja head on there. See what that looks like. And the ninja head, while the paint details are obviously a lot more simple on this, since the only real paint details are over her eyes there, they did a nice job with that. She's got like brown eyes, and they look very nice. It's got a little bit of a white dot on there for a little bit of a glint. And she's got like a little bit of eyeshadow on her, just like a little bit of a kind of a neutral eyeshadow shade. So it's subtle, but it's there. But yeah, so then she looks a little more like the original action figure, but not exactly like the original action figure. That one didn't actually have the gi at the front here. It was just kind of like a pullover shirt, almost like she was wearing like a sweatsuit or something. So you couldn't see any of the flesh in between the mask and the gi. It all just kind of looked like one piece. And of course, like I said, that sleeve was that gi was long sleeve, so you couldn't see her arms at all. And there was no black wraps around the forearms there, although it did have, I think it had black around the cuffs. And then of course she had the nail polish, like I said. Pants legs were a little different. Shoes were a little well, the shoes were actually about the same, but like I said, it looks like she has black socks. Unless those black areas actually are supposed to be part of the shoes, but I'm imagining it's like she's got black socks underneath her slippers. All right, so let's go ahead and gear her up as far as the weapons go, and of course we have the sword in the sheath, and that'll fit right on her back. There we go. So no backpack like the original figure had, only one sword. So but that's probably like a cost-cutting measure. It makes sense to me that you would just reuse swords if you can, unless you have a sword that's like really distinctive and you want it to be different. Unfortunately, the sword doesn't fit too tightly in there, so it might come loose a little bit. But then put the sword in her hand. So there she is with the sword. And let's go ahead and put the spear in her hand so we can see her with that. For a ninja figure, she is pretty light on accessories. There she is with the spear. They did a really good job with that spear. That looks really cool. So that's probably going to be her default weapon as far as that goes. So let's go ahead and talk about her articulation. Get into that. All right, so Jinx can look up about that far, look down about that far, tilt her head kind of quizzically from side to side, really move it around any which way you want. It's on one of those good neck joints, the ball joints. There is another neck joint where the neck reaches the collarbone. Probably part of the reason they put this choker on there was to help obscure that a little bit. She does have the butterfly joint, so her shoulders move back about that far and move forward about that far. The shoulders rotate all the way around, but it does have like that little bit of flare from the gi, so that's gonna kind of get in the way of that slightly. So she can't put her arms all the way straight up. Like if she was gonna be swinging her sword straight up, those are gonna kind of get in the way. You see. Her arms move up about that far. She does have a bicep sole, so the bicep rotates all the way around. She does have double jointed elbows, good range of articulation at the elbows. The wrists, of course, rotate all the way around, and they have a vertical hinge, so they move up and down like so. And the other hand does the same way. She's got a upper torso joint, kind of similar to a G.I. Joe 25th anniversary figure. So it's that right underneath where the rib cage is. There's a rubber piece here that represents like the tail of the gi, and it doesn't go all the way down like over her pelvis, so it's not going to hinder that pelvis articulation at all. So she does have a rotation right there, and probably a little bit of ball joint. Yeah, a little bit of ball joint there, but it's got that rubber piece on there, so that's going to kind of hinder that a little bit. She can kick up about that far. She can do the splits, no problem. There we go. She is a ninja, after all. She does have a thigh cut, so the thigh rotates all the way around. She got double jointed knees. That one's a little stuck, but not too bad. There we go. And she does have a boot cut, so rotates all the way around at the calf there. And she's got the good rocker ankle, although it's going to kind of get caught up on the bottom of her pants there a little bit. And goes up about that far. And of course, then it rotates all the way around that way. So you can get some good articulation out of the ankles and the feet. Great articulation on this figure, as we've come to expect from G.I. Joe Classified. So good job with that. All right, let's go ahead and put the unmasked head back on her. And now that I've been over the articulation, I'm going to go ahead and put the accessories back on her. All right, so it does have that kind of thing going on where like the peg doesn't want to go in all the way. So it's got like that little bit of space there, you see, where you can see a little bit extra peg. So I'm going to put the staff back in her hands. I like the staff, spear, whatever you want to call it. So we can get one last shot of her. But I'm going to wind up taking it right back out of her hands anyway as soon as I'm done with this video, because I'm going to give her that nail polish. Maybe I should take a picture of the figure for the thumbnail first and then do the nail polish. But I definitely want her to have that nail polish because it's Jinx. She's got to have the nail polish. So I'm a little disappointed that Hasbro didn't do that in themselves. Not greatly disappointed, but just a little disappointed. So it's like it's one of those details from the original figure that I always really appreciated, and I feel like they probably should have gone the extra mile and done that. But still, that's a minor quibble with this figure, which I think they did a really great job on. The other minor quibble I could come up with is it would be nice to have, like, a few more accessories for this. It'd be nice if she had a backpack with two swords on it instead of just the one sword that was, recycled from the movie figures. Hell, even if you wanted to recycle the sword and the sheath, just give her two of them and give us a backpack with like some holes on either side for the pegs to go into, and I would have been fine with that. I would have thought that's a pretty clever reuse of that Snake Eyes sword to put it onto the put it onto a backpack like that. But no, they didn't even do that. That's too bad. But she does have, like, the I kind of feel like they're good accessories for like bare minimum Jinx accessories. She's got the staff or spear or whatever you want to call this thing, and that to me is the most distinct weapon that Jinx came with. The swords the original Jinx came with were pretty cool because they were swords, but there wasn't really anything too distinctive about them. They were just kind of generic ninja swords, like you would expect a ninja action figure to came with. And this staff, I think, was the more distinctive weapon that she came with. So I think that would have been the most important thing anyway. But she looks good. I'm happy with her. I'm looking forward to opening Torch tomorrow. So make sure you don't miss that. If you want to make sure you don't miss that, make sure you like and subscribe and all that fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Jinx, both this action figure and the character in general, and any of the other action figures you might want to bring up in conversation. So I'm planning on what's today is what, Thursday, I think. Work's been kicking my ass lately. Yeah, it's Thursday. I slept most of yesterday, and I slept really well this morning. So like I went to sleep like maybe around like 8 and woke up around like 2:30, and that was a good sleep for me. I'm probably still gonna take a nap before I go to work, but I did want to go ahead and get something open since I wasn't able to open anything yesterday. And I do have all three of these figures, which I wanted to do all three of these this week. I had wanted to do all three of these this week and then do Mr. Freeze on Saturday, but it didn't work out that way. So I'm just gonna have to do him next week sometime. But I got a lot of cool stuff on the way. Not only do I have these, but I have some new Batman 66 figures from McFarlane that I've got on pre-order. So those will be on the way shortly. I've still got a couple of more He-Man figures I got to get to. I've got that Filmation Man-at-Arms, so we'll probably be opening him next week. And another Masterverse figure that I haven't opened yet that we need to get around to. So I might do him next week too. Who knows? And then we got some other cool stuff coming up. I've got it says they're supposedly supposed to show up August 14th on Amazon, but I've been seeing people posting that they've been finding them at Target and Walmart. Hello, David Jones. You came in just at the tail end. I'm sorry. But yeah, I've got them pre-ordered on Amazon. If I find them at Walmart or Target first, I'll probably just go ahead and buy them there and cancel my pre-orders. But there's a chance those might get sent to me early since they're already showing up at retail stores. They might go ahead and show up early at Amazon too, so they might get sent to me really fast. Who knows? But I've been trying to get the Batman Forever figures pre-ordered, but they keep showing up and disappearing like instantly at Amazon. So I've got the Riddler pre-ordered on Amazon, and that's it. And then I've got Robin pre-ordered from Big Bad Toy Store. So at least I know those two are taken care of. I don't know what I'm going to do about Two-Face and Batman himself, so wish me luck on those. And then manga Batman, I've got that pre-ordered. I've got the the Longbow Hunters Green Arrow and the Atom from DC Multiverse pre-ordered. So I got a lot of cool stuff coming, and of course I've been trying to pick up some vintage Batman stuff here and there where I can. So I'll have some more stuff to show off from that soon. I probably should have thought to bring some of that over here with me because I got some cool new stuff from them since last time I did a video, but I didn't. So we'll just have to do that at another point in the future. So anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We will talk to you next time. Bye.